Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live stream today. Uh, we apologize for the slight delay. We had to sort out some things before we began, but we're here now, and that's what's most important. Uh, so, first things first, we should have a proper introduction, and I shouldn't be introducing Mr. Clinton Big Daddy because he's a he's the Big Daddy. I feel if I introduce him, I would leave a lot of things out. So, but before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Anthony Okon, and I'm the convener of Mind Shift. And if we're not first timers here, I believe we understand what Mind Shift is about. It's about a mindset, a productive mindset. And in this social media age, there are a lot of force out there. Everybody has a phone, everybody has the internet, and you can put anything out there, right? But yeah, whatever they put out there, it affects a lot of people, and that's why we have a lot of conflicting ideals and confusion out there. But for Mindshift, we do the research, we relate with people that are aligning with a truly productive life because the world is a better place if we have more productive people than if we have a few productive people. And the idea is with mind shifts, we're pushing out productive ideas and we're aligning with people that have the productive ideas to see how we can put the message out there. So that's just what it's about. And today's episode is interesting. It cuts across everyone, both young, middle age, old. It cuts across everyone, and it's on purpose. What we need to fulfill purpose, right? It's one thing to be open to knowing your purpose in life because everybody has a purpose. I usually say as our fingerprints are different, so our purpose is different, and we have to achieve our purpose. It's non-negotiable. If we're not achieving our purpose, we are being wicked, in quotes. We're being wicked because this app, StreamYard that we are using, YouTube that we are using, is someone's purpose that was fulfilled. If they didn't fulfill our purpose, we won't have the platform to do this. Right, Clinton? Am I right?
Yeah, sure. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, we don't know what the world might really need from us, but we just have to do it. So that's about me. Let me leave the floor open to our big man, Big Daddy, to just give us a brief introduction about himself. All right, so over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you properly. Go ahead.
Oh, because your network had a bit of lagging, and so I couldn't hear you properly. Okay, so I didn't get the question.
Okay, okay. I said you can go ahead. I'm done with my own introduction, so you can go ahead. Let's know you today.
Okay, my name is Clinton, and I best describe myself as a mix of a lot of things, right? So, firstly, I am I just graduated from. I'm just done with my master's program, and I studied material science in Industry 4.0, as well as mechanical engineering, as well as artificial intelligence. So I'm a mix of all of this. And aside this, I enjoy thoughtful leadership as well as writing. So I'm super excited to be on the show. Super, super excited. It is a long time, Tony, and I'm really happy to see you.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm happy to see you, man. It's too much. Okay, so Mr. Clinton, it's nice to have you here. So we are done with the normal introduction. So let's go for the deep introduction now. Uh, I know you will remember. You should remember. We met in NYC. I think it was 2022. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were how we met. We were in a competition. Were we? In a, I think, Access Bank competition.
Accesspreneur Business Grand
Access.
Prix.
so were you second runner up also, or
Yeah, I
first
was
runner
part
up?
of the winners. I was part of the winners.
Yeah, yeah, you're part of the winner. So it's interesting that there were about I think three winners or so, like three
Yeah,
selected, but somehow
yeah.
it was just you that stuck out from everybody. so, so, so I remember in camp, your rise was amazing. It was amazing, and there was this aura you had, and you were just focused. And in fact, that's what drew everyone to you. That's what, even me, I was a contestant, but I was drawn to you.
Yeah, I remember. I remember like the Twitter banter whereby we had to try to get votes on Twitter and all of that. And yeah, I remember it was a very adventurous experience.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So your money you won, I hope you used it well, Lou.
Oh, of course. I mean, part of the Accesspreneur Business Grand Prize was to be able to, help young minds to be able to start up a business and try to grow the business. I mean, this was something the federal government of Nigeria, they were trying to really invest in skills development for young people and young talents. And I think about it now, I just think more like an incubation program that sort of helped young people. I mean, the program was really worth it because we had to see lots of ideas, AI-driven ideas and all of that.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. In fact, that brought up something in mind. Mind shift is not just. We believe a well-rounded life encompasses different things. So it's not just about making money or having a good relationship or being a good leader or being spiritual or
Mhm.
focusing on your purpose, right?
Yeah,
Everything is included. So we spoke about the Accesspreneur grant and the whole money thing. For someone that you've been in the Nigerian space, you know how it is, and
yeah.
we also been in the foreign space, you know how it is also. So I can tell that you're well rounded in it. Where do you think uh, having access to money? Where do you think it places? Like, where do you think it places itself in helping people accomplish their purpose? Just like grants and all. Do you think it really helps, or it doesn't really help, or it doesn't help at all? What do you think from your experience?
Firstly, I would say that Nigerians we are very adventurous people, and we are very strong risk takers. And I think being a Nigerian and having studied across multiple universities across the world, I would say Nigerians are go getters, right? And just to answer the question, right? So I think if we have even more access to funds, right? If we do have more access to seats, especially in a third world country like Nigeria, I think it's going to do a whole lot of things. It's going to be able to rattle minds and enable young people to be able to, really come up with very strong creative ideas. I mean, currently, right now, the federal government of Nigeria, ahead of the fundraising, whereby students from University of Ibadan, University of Benin, they had some seed funds around 50 million naira. I mean, these things are really commendable because when you have that kind of a head start, it's going to really help you. And then one thing I want to add is, okay, having the head start is super good. However, we also need more incubation systems to be able to sort of guide these young people, because most of these people are, let's say, fresh out of the universities or maybe PhD or master students, and they just go into the professional space. Sometimes they might not be super experienced, they might not be able to handle the nuances that has to do with managing a business. So I think having a seed is a very strong investment. It is a very good direction. However, they also need further guidance. They need people who would be able to help them make very strong business decisions. So there should always be a follow up. That's what I would say.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's very powerful. I think money is important. I think it was a Buju. Buju said something. If you don't get money, they kill idea. Abi?
Yeah, true, true, true. That's what you said.
so so I think money is really important. But again, guidance is so important. I think that grant, was it about it was about 1 million, yeah.
Yeah, it was about 1 million.
Yeah. Yes. So you won't believe that. Yeah, we're gingering for the money, and we didn't get it, but eventually, somehow, maybe through one or two personal things, we're able to get the so-called 1 million. Okay, 1 million is here now. There's this product you were eager to build. Oh yeah, build now. I'm talking of from my end. So,
Oh, 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 really?
so yeah. So we realized that, or I realized that, it's money is important, but there's still a whole part that is very important, and those parts should be taken seriously too. I don't know if do you know Olumide, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Do you know him? He's a public speaker online.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, I know him. The name sounds familiar. I know him. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. So I follow him. I follow him a lot, and he was saying something about, uh, money is, to him, capital. We need capital to start a business, right? But the only capital we need to start a business is not just money. There's wisdom capital. There's people capital. There is uh, there's time capital, like an environment you are in is part of a capital, right?
Yeah,
And he said sometimes some people's problem is that they got money too quickly. That was why they
yeah,
failed. If they
yes,
didn't get that money, if they got maybe some proper knowledge, some proper information, they would have performed better.
yeah.
So if I even said something about, he I think he got an investment. He started a business or so, and he got someone invest. I don't know what the amount is, but let's say 20 million naira, right? Let's say
Yeah.
20 million naira. The person invested 20 million naira in his business, and he has free 20 million naira. I saw one upcoming business, and he said, "I can invest like 15 million naira," and invested it, and the money sunk. so so if he didn't have that free money, he would have probably not made he wouldn't have made that funny financial decision. So so sometimes, money too early.
It's one thing having an idea, right? There were a lot of ideas that stood out that day. So during the Assespreneur business grants, section, one thing is you have an idea. The next thing is the ability to also fulfill the idea, to understand, the steps, the nuances involved in establishing a business, right? From the HRO to the people management to the core idea in itself. So it's not just a one person thing. So this is why I strongly believe that there should be follow ups to guide these young people.
Yeah, yeah, cool, cool. And about, it's money is important, but I can remember the lady. I don't know if you recall the lady that won. I think there was a grand prize. There was a lady that won the grand prize, and she was doing something on nutrition. So an app that can calculate your calories.
Mhm.
Calories. Can you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so at that time, I was angry that see, we're building some crazy stuff that will change the world, and you are giving somebody that's saying calories calculation, you're giving the person the grand prize. so, so I was angry, but with time, I really got to understand that when it comes to fulfilling a purpose, there's a time and there's a relevance. So um people at that time there was a lot of raw about uh weight gain, health control, all those type of things. So it was packaged in a way
Yeah.
that it could fly, right? So there were other real good ideas. Other people had their purpose, and they were trying to push their purpose in their idea, but that particular idea stood out. So it made me understand that okay, it's every idea is a good idea, but how is it arranged? What is the timing, and how are you putting it out there for the relevance? So it was really something. So what do you think about that?
Okay, right. So, I mean, that brings us to the big question on, what people really perceive purpose to be. You know, to one man, purpose can just be, okay, I enjoy doing this, and this is my purpose. Or I am interested in this. I have a talent for this, and this is my purpose. But purpose is something even more complex. It's something that is multi-layered. It is just beyond having a certain love or having a certain ability to do something. So you should be able to ask yourself. Personally, I feel purpose is being grounded around some specific questions. One question could be like, okay, am I really burdened? Am I really do I really think about this and I'm burdened by it? And the second question I would want to ask myself is, will I be able to solve problems, right? If I embark on this. And the third question is, okay, um, will I be able to make people happy from it? And am I really good at it, right? So if one person is able to answer, this set of questions, then the person clearly understands what purpose is, because purpose is not just what you're good at, or it's not just what gives you, what fits you, or what makes you happy. Maybe from a Nigerian perspective, a man can be well-to-do, and outwardly it appears that, oh, he's financially good, he's okay, but inwardly there could be a dislocation, there could be that sense of unhappiness. He doesn't really feel at ease, he doesn't really feel at home, doing what he's doing. So this is why um, I believe that people should clearly understand that, okay, purpose does not just mean that it's paying my salary. I'm sorry, it's paying my bills. Or purpose does not just mean I can do something. It's beyond that. It is multi-layered, and we have to be able to understand it from these different angles to be able to say, okay, indeed, this is really my purpose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's super. And you just mentioned something that sparked a line of conversation that we had in the pre-video to this topic. So we said something about success is predictable, and if a person would fulfill their purpose, it's actually predictable. It doesn't really fall from the sky, right? So um, why that is so? Why it's predictable is because uh, from research, we've seen that life is guided by laws and principles. And if you see someone really aligning with these laws and principles, you can tell that with time, with that, with patience, with that discipline, with perseverance and continuity, that person will
Mm.
get it, right? So, one of the things we spoke about was focus. If the person keeps being focused on achieving their purpose, and also we talked about work and job. So, you said something about making money, and you might think you're all right. So, there's the job, and there's the work. right? So the job
Yeah,
is
true.
they are paying you for your skill. You have a skill, whatever you are, and somebody is paying you. That makes sense, right? But the
Yeah,
work
true.
is what you were born to do. What the one thing, the one ability, the one thing that you were born to do and achieve in life, and that is where the real fulfillment comes from. Because you might see some people, maybe they have a good job, a good car, good family, good this, but they are not still satisfied. And you on the other side, you'll be like, ah, but what's this lady looking for? What's this guy looking for? But inwardly, the person there's something that person was supposed to fulfill that they weren't able to fulfill, and it's usually very scary because nobody wants to leave what is bringing food to their table to say they want to go and pursue purpose. It's it's like you are joking. Abi, Abi,
True.
there are not a lot of people that can do that, but according to the research and according to how a lot of people have done it, there's a balance where it's fine if you start with doing a job, make some money. In fact, it's even important because when you create work, people will have to be under your system to as a job. I don't know if you get the analogy. So
Yeah, I
if you are
understand.
finally fulfilling your purpose, people will have to work under you as a job. So it's a system, right? So if you are part of a system for someone else, that's how someone else, some other people to be part of the system for you. So it's a job you get to learn a lot of things, you get to meet people, make some money, and have a clear mind before beginning your own idea or your own work. And it's important, and it's really about timing. But what do you think about that balance? That balance between this job and work thing. What do you think about that balance?
I mean, I'll start by saying this is a very, very interesting perspective, right? So I would like to contextualize it because I'm referring to the Nigerian society, and because I'm a storyteller, so I would try to make it very simple, right? So imagine this, right? We have Mr. Let's say Chima, right? Mr. Chima just graduated, and he's done with NYSC and he's done, right? And Mr. Chima happens to be a Nigerian, of course. And so he's getting lots of pressure, right? There's pressure coming from the family, there's societal pressure, there's also that um, willfulness to perform, particularly from social media. And Chima has not yet found his footing, right? And nobody's even asking him, "Oh, what are you really passionate about?" The society is already asking him. There's always the pressure of, "Okay, how do you make money?" Your mates already, they're already getting settled. They're already tearing Benzes. So how would you be able to find your footing? And this is Chima's perspective. Now, let's take it away from Chima. Let's say there's somebody, let's say in the UK, let's say his name is Churchill, right? Not the president. I mean, not the former president, not the former prime minister, but I mean, just a young man called Churchill. Let's say he's also done with the university and right, and because of the society he finds himself, let's say he says, okay, I'm passionate about writing and I'm really, really passionate. I want to write. I feel that I'm able to solve societal problems through writing, through my voice. Now, so when you compare these two cases, you see that on one hand, Chima is already grappling with issues that are bigger than him. Nobody's asking him what he's passionate about, right? On this other hand, you have a young man in which a society enables him, right? And so Chima, is grappling in a society whereby when you look at the stats, you look at the report from NBS, you see that out of three Nigerians you meet, two are suffering from multidimensional poverty. Chima finds himself in a society whereby basic amenities such as light, such as stability, these things are still very foreign rather to him. And these things are still national issues and things that the government tries to handle. And so trying to be able to find your purpose in that kind of a situation can be a tall order, I would say, compared to someone like Churchill, who happens to be in an enabling society that sort of helps him, and he just say, okay, I want to do writing, and he's able to write, and nobody is really telling him, okay, um, um, are you sure you want to write? How do you make money? No, no, because the society is already balanced, right? So it can still work, right? But to be able to manage this situation as a Nigerian, whereby you're handling issues, societal issues, as well as pressures, and at the same time, you're also trying to balance um, the what's it called, your personal goals, your personal objective. To be able to do this, I would say the first thing is you have to start with, let's say, a job, right? Like you mentioned earlier on, you can just start with a job. So this job, this might not necessarily be your purpose, right? But provided it solves the problems, it puts food on the table, it gives you where to sleep, super good. You can start with this. And then over time, right? Over time, you can then evolve. When you have attained a bit of stability, this gives you a sense of clarity. So you can then see for yourself and say, okay, no, as Chima, I'm not just interested in doing this. Let's say digital marketing. No, this is not really what I'm called for. Maybe I want to do something else. But digital marketing gave me that sense of stability, and then I can then be able to think clearly and then evolve towards my actual direction. So, from a Nigerian perspective, I would say number one, get a job, try to gain clarity. That job will help you to think properly. But then over time, evolve towards your purpose and then begin to, sort of create infrastructures and establishments that will help you. Let's say, when I say infrastructures, I mean the skill sets, if you want to like start maybe a startup or something, the like minds that will help you achieve this. So this is one way to manage it. But we have to put, into cognizance that when you're coming from a third world country and you're coming from a society in which people thrive, despite the government failings, right? People still try to, get their footing together. So we have to put all of this into perspective and say, okay, yeah, it's still possible, but it is not just an easy walk in the park for most Nigerians, I would say. So this is one way to, I would say, this is one way we can try to manage the situation. So you can give yourself like a kind of a time frame. You can say, okay, in 2 years, I'm going to be doing this job. Let's say it's a digital marketing job, but this is not really my, my domain. This is not something I'm really excited, something that I feel it's my passion, or my purpose in life. Then over time, when I've gotten a bit of stability, I can then drift, because therein, amidst that your sense of purpose, that is where you truly find home. This is what I have to say.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah, two what you said just struck two things in my mind, but the other is a bit of a digression. But I would like to talk about it. I think you mentioned a third world country, and there's a school of thought about that. But to the main question, what would you say about complacency, right? Because yeah, it's easy for, okay, you have a purpose, you have a dream that you want to fulfill, but you just started with, like, Chima just started with the digital marketing work, right? And
Mhm.
the money started coming in small, small. And Chima was like, boy, this is not bad though. And Chima is now focused on amassing more, maybe enjoying his life, chilling with friends, just busy with every other thing that life has to offer. And then he's busy with other things, and he's forgetting, or somehow his purpose or his initial drive is just getting too far fetched. So that complacency, what can you say about that? What if there's anybody that might be in that shoe now? What can you say about that, and what can help the person come out?
In one sentence, I would say, right, I would say that, the greatest danger is not failure, right? It is succeeding in the wrong direction. like you said, complacency. Chima might, okay, let's not use the name Chima. I mean, okay, let's just say somebody, right? Somebody can really be doing well in a particular field, and yet this is not his purpose, but he feels okay, it's paying the bills, the money is coming in, right? For me, this is the greatest danger because you're succeeding in a wrong direction. You're not you're not achieving what you were made for. If I want to borrow the words of Fela Duritoye, he said, "In this life, you have to find your space. You have to find your place, rather, fill your space, and then run your race." He was just trying to play on some words. But when I think about this, I think it sort of resonates with me particularly. So the goal is not to let complacency set in, especially in the kind of country where we come from, whereby you're pushing against survivor, right? So sometimes your passion survivor can be confused for passion. I just saw something, maybe I'm drowning, and maybe it was one oil and gas job that appears to be the only thing floating, and it's like the next big thing, and so everybody is just hopping up into the ship. And then you want to go towards that direction, even if deep down this is not for you. There is no real sense of fulfillment in this. And because maybe you went in, maybe you follow the crowd, and then there is this sense of complacency, like you mentioned. So I would say you have to be disciplined. That is the way to manage it, right? Because I remember when I was a child, I have this blurry memory from childhood. I think it was a commercial from Guinness. The name of that commercial was Udeme, my dear friend. And it goes and ends with something like, there is a drop of greatness in every man, right? It just ends with something along the lines. And as a child, I think it spoke to me because it made me realize that, look, there are around 7 billion persons in the world today, right? Everyone is specifically born with something unique, right? The goal is not to be, purpose is not something that has to be borrowed. I don't know. I do not have to, let's say, I think right now the most trending topic, not just in Nigeria, I mean across the world, is tech. So there exists a very large cohort of young persons, really pushing and busting into the tech field, right? This in itself is not bad, but we have to ask ourselves some very strong, maybe uncomfortable questions, and part of them will be, okay, is this really what I really want for my life? Is this really what I want to do? Do I really feel that sense of fulfillment in trying to do this? Maybe I am in a tech field today, but maybe my greatest passion is maybe to become a creative writer, right? To tell stories, and this one example that just comes to my mind, for example, now is Chimamanda Adichie. When you look at the life of the lady, she's a global icon, one of the very most respectable individuals across the world today. If we try to run a kind of view on Chimamanda's life, right, we see something, right? So if you follow her story, she schooled in Nsukka, and she was like doing the prestigious course, medicine. When you tell a Nigerian parent that, okay, my daughter is a medical doctor, I mean, this is a very
I didn't know
wonderful
that
title.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, this is a wonderful title today. But let's see if Chimamanda, let's assume, let's say in some other, maybe in an alternate universe, Chimamanda continued as a medical doctor. Of course, she's a very brilliant lady. She's a straight A student. She would have succeeded. But now let's look at the reality today. Who is Chimamanda? Chimamanda is a thought leader. She's a global icon. She's a powerful writer. Her works, Dangers of a Single Story, continues to shape lives today, continues to shape the world today. What does this have to do with the conversation? It's very clear. Chimamanda evolved. She decided to take a very big risk. She left medicine. She ditched medicine, and then she moved over to the US, and then she started writing. I mean, how can I tell my dad, look, I want to leave medicine to go and study creative writing? I mean, it was not something that was very fashionable at that time, but then she did it. And this is it. Look at it today. Her works, books like the thing around your neck, her short story, Purpose Hibiscus, and the very strong one, Half of a Yellow Sun, have been translated into over 50 different languages across the world. Chimamanda today continues to inspire the world. This in itself answers the question. This is what is called purpose. So it is not just about, oh, the title is admirable, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer. No, it is beyond this, right? Purpose is something that evolves beyond just the title. It's all about that thing, that drop of greatness in you, that among the 7 billion persons existing, you have the power to thrive and to become, something even more than what the average person might be. So yeah, so this is what I think. I think people should take calculated risks, and people should have that sense of discipline. Yeah, I think I've spoken a lot. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, that risk is very important. In fact, that risk is what a lot of people are shying away from, right? Because there's yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I can hear you. I can
Yeah,
hear you. Sure.
Lindsay, can you can hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So I said the risk. Yeah, the risk is very important because uh, it's very difficult to leave an existing system and start your own. Trust me, it is very difficult, and there's no sugarcoating risk. A risk is a risk, and there's nothing sweet about it, taking a risk, right? But the only sweet thing about taking a risk is that when you take a risk, when the when the products or when the benefits comes, you're the one enjoying the benefits, right? So that
Exactly.
that risk is important, and yeah. And one thing I keep saying is, well, life is life, and we just keep trying or die trying. So for someone that wants to fulfill their purpose, I think the idea should be always thinking about it day and night. How can I do this? How can I do this? If it's not working, it's not coming through, you try another way. Keep trying, and die trying. so
Yes.
so it's better you kept trying, and on the way they say, oh, he died trying to do this but couldn't do it.
No, don't die
I think
trying.
I think that's a better way. So it's there are no guarantees. There are no guarantees, but that's the but that's the only way forward, because um is every I there was, sometimes we just sit down and we're just having some thinking, and I had some dark thoughts, right? And the dark thoughts was, uh it's interesting how everybody is is running towards death, right? Whether I like it or not. Some people are very far from the finish line. Those, hopefully, the 15-year-old, 18-year-old, 21-year-old person, the death finish line is very far.
I think there was some kind of a network itch from his end.
Yeah, sorry, my internet went off. Yeah, so are we, can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me, Clinton? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I can hear you now.
Okay. I hope it's not my dark thought that disrupted the internet. Oh.
It's part of the things we're talking about, you know. It's part of the things we're talking about.
so so I was saying uh the 50 something year old person is closer to the death finish line than the 20 something year old, and the 70 something year old person, the 70 year old person is much closer, right? So we're all running the same race, right? But what makes the difference? What makes the difference is the impact. Is the impact that the person has made in life before they exit. So see those great names. I don't know what them, Abraham Lincoln, then Nnamdi Azikiwe, all those guys, and we even have people that are already placing their names in the sands of time. See someone like Elon Musk with Starlink. In fact, I think Starlink, the internet is bizarre. Have you? I know people don't really have internet issues there. Do you guys get to use Starlink over there?
No. Currently, I'm in France, and Starlink is not quite popular here.
Okay, okay. So, but imagine in a country like Nigeria, Starlink, and in most countries, Starlink blew our brains because uh, the network thing in Nigeria is, oh, are you close to a mast? Something, something, something. But with Starlink, anywhere you are, even if you are inside water, so far you can just get a place to plug your Starlink, you are getting internet straight to the satellite. So it was something else, right? It changed the game for a lot of things, and people like that are putting their names in the sand of time and they're making impact. So the idea of purpose is not just about, oh, let me feel all right or let me feel fulfilled. It's about putting your name in the sands of time. Everybody will cross that finish line or that death finish line. We must cross it later, later, later. But what makes a difference is what impact did we make. So that's what I think. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in, right? So I also feel right. It has to be contextual, right? When I say contextual, because I mean primarily we're talking to lots of Nigerians at the moment, and so I want Nigerians to understand that look, um, we need to have that. I would say a sense of pride or a sense of self confidence. You know, particularly in yourself. If I have understood, okay, this is my purpose, right? And even if at the moment, maybe because of the economic realities surrounding the Nigerian states, I cannot really, just dive into it because there are lots of pressure coming from maybe the family and all of that. I have to understand that, okay, I want to stabilize my life, and by stabilization, I'll be able to first of all think clearly, and then, secondly, I will begin to identify the meeting points between, boarding, strength, usefulness, and then ask what genuine problem can I actually solve? How well will I do this? And, who will be the ones benefiting from this? And then, like I said before, you can then begin to sort of build structures, right? So, having said this, right, I would also say you need a very good dose of discipline to be able to succeed, especially as a Nigerian. By a good dose, I mean discipline. Discipline, you have to really be disciplined. What does it really mean? Discipline means I have to do what I have to do, whether I feel like it or not. I mean, this definition was by Etta Hubert. You have to say, okay, if I let's say for example I am an upcoming software designer, I have to tell myself, okay, if I have to practice every day for 6 hours, and the next 365 days, I have to be ruthless with this decision. I have to see my life as something that is wanting, something that is determined, something that has to stick to this. I have to think about my life like a project, and I'm the project manager. And if you're a project manager and you're being paid to do a project, you have to show up every day. You have to make every day count. So in this way, I believe we can be able to achieve that sense of purpose, even in the Nigerian state amidst our peculiar challenges. Right. This is what I have to say, and you need discipline. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool, cool. So about our little digression. Yeah. Uh, with I know I've spoken about the third world country, and you've spoken about it also. But from your understanding, what's your definition of a third world? I think there's first, second, and third world country, right?
Yes.
Is there
Yes.
second world country? Okay. So from
Sometimes
your
there are schools
understanding,
of thought.
what's the definition of a third world country? Just from your own lay understanding.
Okay. A third world country is an example of the Nigerian society, right?
Yeah.
In which we continue to grapple with basic amenities like electricity, like lightning and all of that, right? And in which we look at the numbers from the NBS. When you interrogate 7 graduates from Nigeria, 5 talks about the possibility of migrating. 3 out of every 5 Nigerians you meet, they are talking about issues surrounding poverty. So this is a third world country, in which as basic as lightning, because I mean that's really funny. Electricity, this should be normal, basic. There are some part of Nigeria today that are still, having epileptic power supply. Some states cannot boast of 24 hours. That is a very easy example of a third world country.
Okay. 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 Awesome. Awesome. So, uh, from the AI definition, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I can hear you. I can hear
Clinton,
you.
can you hear me?
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay.
I think
So,
you have
you know,
some lag time.
there's an experience, or there's an on ground definition of things, right? And there's a
Sure.
research based definition of things. Yeah. Yeah. So there's an on ground definition of things usually. Okay. Okay. So according to the textbook definition, right? The textbook
Okay.
definition of a third world country, uh, according to AI, it says an underdeveloped country, a low income country in Africa, Asia, Latin America, characterized with high poverty, low industrialization, or poor infrastructure. Right? Did you get that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Did you
Yeah,
get my
sure. I can.
definition?
Yes, I can. I can hear you properly. I think you have some glitches on your end, so there's a bit of
Yeah.
internet
Clinton, did you
lagging.
get my definition?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Uh, so that being said, it actually it aligns with, when you yeah. So when you gave the definition, you just gave a straight definition. Can you hear me? Okay. When you gave definition, you just gave a straight definition that, oh, a third world country is Nigeria, right?
Easy example, usual
Are
suspect.
you
So
there? Clinton, wave if you can hear me.
okay.
Okay. So the from that textbook definition, let me.
I think his network is a bit down. So
Clinton, if you can hear me, wave. Are you there? Clinton, wave if you can hear me, Clinton.
okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you
Okay, well,
can you wave if you can hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Okay, okay, that's cool. So according to that definition, Nigeria falls under that this thing: high poverty, low industrialization, poor infrastructure, right? But I like to say that uh, this whole third world definition is like a mindset. Is it's trying to put people in a box and make them behave a certain way. Are you following?
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So so when they say, it's like when they say, oh, you're from a third world country, you should just be third world and just do third world
No,
things.
no, apparently I don't agree to that. No, 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 no. I don't agree to that. I don't think I don't think when I think right it does the opposite because when people from third world country or developing countries, because I mean we have the Western, we have developing and third world countries. So sometimes there's an overlap, but most times when they tell someone, "Oh, you're coming from a third world country," it makes them want to take more from life rather than just settling for less. I think this has been my experience, particularly with people from Asia as well as people from sub-Saharan Africa, people from Africa as a whole. Yeah. So also when you look at the stats in the United States, right, you see the one of the most I don't know what's the best use of word I would place here when it comes to people who are actually thriving in their respective fields. When you think about it, Nigeria sits, at one of the very top position there, and so this goes to show, or it goes to prove that look, most immigrants or most young people from third world countries, they are actually out there to thrive. They try to thrive because they clearly understand. So I think it sort of accelerates us, it sort of pushes us rather than, making us to settle for less. This is what I believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually true. It turns into it's a funny box that they've put us in, but that funny box turns into an energy that drives us to do more. Like if if you go abroad, most times I hear my guys abroad say, "No, Nigerians are this, Nigerians are this." Even when you're here, when you hear of the people doing crazy things, a lot of them are Nigerians. In fact, I heard the statistics one time that there's no global there's no globally recognized institute you go to that you don't find at least one Nigeria doing something good there around the world,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
it's that drive. So, and in fact, that even proves the point more that this third world thing is a box that uh, I don't know who is trying to put us in that box, but
It's our
it's
leaders.
just
It's our leaders. I mean, we have to. It's not people. I mean, we have to be self-critical and stop pointing fingers. We should be telling ourselves the truth. Our leaders are failing. Nigeria is a failed state today, courtesy of her leadership, right? So I don't think. I mean, when I read books like how the West, sort of underdeveloped Africa and all of that. I mean, those books are interesting, but that's been a long time ago. It's been a very long time ago. When you still look at, the performance, the human index for development, the HDI, we should ask ourselves the very strong questions and say, how have we performed? How have our leadership been? Nigeria has been running leadership for, I mean, since 1999 to date. I mean, this is not to excuse Nigerians' military leadership, but when you look at it historically, as a country, we have failed, and this failure stems from our leadership. And sometimes this leadership is also a reflection of who we are. So I think we should stop pointing the fingers, outward and begin to point back to ourselves. Because when you look at the budget, sometimes the budget that are being passed, and then you begin to hear the pieces of looting. This budget do not go out to actualize their purpose, right? So there's always that leakage, there's always that padding. We have a very skewed society courtesy of our leadership, whereby we have very extremely wealthy set of individuals, and at the same time we also have quite extremely poor number of persons today in the country. In fact, I think I was looking at the numbers that was yesterday. Around 65% of Nigerians today are struggling or grappling with issues surrounding poverty. I mean, this is the 21st century. So I think we should, as young people, move to hold our leaders more accountable rather than trying to, sort of put the blame game outside. This is my perception.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's super. That's super. Actually, it's the leadership structure, both locally and internationally, is trying to put us in a box, but it's not a productive way to think, right? And at at Mindshift, we like people to think bigger. We like people to think global, right? So
True.
yes, Nigeria, but from this Nigeria, we have people like Whiskey, Ashake, Davido, Burna Boy, uh, pastors like Adeboye, all those global names, right? So even from this so-called third world country, people are launching abroad. In fact, when it comes to the music side, if most Western artists, if you want to just blow, just feature Whiskey or the video. If you want your album to sell, just put them there and they will sell. Again, so it's not like the inverse that they are coming to meet these people to grow themselves, right? But these are third world people. So I think as one thing we should really note in fulfilling purpose is that what I am doing, if we put this on a global stage, can it work? Would it fly? Is it relevant globally? Right? So that's one important check I think people can have that can help them fulfill their purpose. And not just it's not just the thing, it's the set of attitudes that people have. I mean, when someone doesn't have integrity, when you are being corny and all that, and you're just money, 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 that can fly, right?
Mm.
It cannot take it globally. So even while we try to um, push global ideas, we should also imbibe global characters and global characteristics and set of behaviors. And this is one thing that will help us grow better and grow faster. Yeah. So, but what do you think about that global mindset in helping to fulfill purpose?
Okay, what I think about global mindset in helping to fulfill purpose. I mean, I agree with your. perception, right? You started by giving out examples like Whiskey Bonobo. So for me, I have always felt that, right, our music is one of the biggest exports we have to the world today. This is one of the best example of a Nigerian product, our music. And if we x-ray why our music has really been successful in trying to use it to answer your question, right, you will see that the goal, right, there was this very strong sense of a healthy competition, within the Nigerian music industry, right? So people were trying to outdo themselves, right? People were not just, I mean, if you trace it, even as a child back in the days, from the likes of Cyclos, to Two Face Media, to today to Burna Boy, you see that we have sort of evolved, right? But this evolution did not just come from one quarter. It came from people, trying to outdo themselves. But the competition in itself was, for me, it was very healthy, and then that sense of competition helped push, Afrobeat outward. So, and that an example could be Burna Boy, who, the way he describes himself and all of that, where he talks about himself being the African giant. I mean, he has this, I would say, global mindset. So, I mean, we can learn a two or three from him, as young people, let's say, even in the AI space, right? Even in the creative writing industry, even in engineering, even in pharmacy, in medicine, right? We have to understand that, we should not be limited by our environment, right? We should be thinking about the global scale, right? How would this product, how would this idea that I'm trying to do, how would we be able to solve, problems globally rather than just within sub-Saharan Africa or within the African space? That ability to be able to, think through, to be able to envisage a larger picture or a bigger picture, in the future. This is a very strong mindset. But then one thing is wishful thinking, and one thing is, putting the pedal to the metal, right? By this I mean working so hard, right? Because achieving sense of a global achievement, global dominance, from the likes of Whiskey, the likes of Chimamanda, we have seen, I mean, I can go on and on and on, mentioning lots of Nigerians. You need to see something, you have to be very good. The question is should not even, or sorry, the statement should not just be being very good. It's not just something about excellence. You have to be different, and which brings us back to the conversation we are having about purpose, right? If you are in a field that is meant for you, you're in a field whereby you call home, whereby you see that you thrive, right? Despite the government, despite the issues troubling us, because I mean, the Nigerian state is a very troubled state. You still have that purpose, that self-driven, that love to really want to do this. I mean, if you find yourself in that kind of a position and you really work hard and you're quite disciplined, then you will succeed. Then the global scale will just be an easy peasy. This is what I believe, and this is a personal sense of leadership for me. I believe that if I'm very disciplined and I really think globally and I'm not just limited by my environment, I can achieve so much more. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Uh, there's one aspect of purpose that's that I feel is it might be difficult to even see that aspect most times, and that aspect is about timing. Right? So there's this story I always like to use to hold body. Let me put it that way. It's the Skype story about sorry, uh, Zoom, the Zoom story. Yeah, the Zoom story. So just a very short part of the story. Zoom had been around for a while, right? And they've been pushing fully virtual meetings and all that. And say pre-COVID, 2019, 2018, thereabouts,
Yeah.
it was just like this, oh boy. In fact, people were saying, if I want to have a serious meeting, we need to be there physically so we can see and iron it out. You understand? So
True.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, so the Zoom team, they were fulfilling, they came together, they're trying to fulfill purpose. But this is them pushing the purpose out there pre-COVID. And everybody was like, boy, maybe, right? But with timing, when the timing came, that was COVID. Instantly, everybody needed to interact. And that was when zoomed everywhere. In fact, as a 2020, I even chopped from the Zoom flow, because we do like some technical services. So we had a couple of people that they wanted to host their meeting during that COVID time, and they wanted to host it online. They didn't really know how to do it. So imagine common Zoom meeting. They had to appoint me to coordinate it for them and just send links. And I charged them well. You understand? So 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 it's about timing. So imagine if pre-COVID, maybe Zoom, they kept the lights on and they kept pushing for a couple of years, and they're like, Omo, this purpose is not purposing. Make a drop and go to drink Gary or go to work. If they had dropped before COVID, you can imagine what it would have been. But when the time was right, see how everything metamorphosed, and it just zoomed off. It just the whole Zoom career just took off. Right. So bringing that to the
True.
conversation, there's something about timing and purpose. So if we are purpose is personal and it only really makes sense to you, it might not make sense to the other person. Right. So if the purpose you have in mind makes sense to you, it's important that you keep going with it. If it's looking like it's not grasping, it's not holding water, it's most likely a timing thing. A time will come when that purpose that you want to fulfill will hold water. It might not be as easy as Zoom, that, oh, it was COVID. Something else can happen. People's purposes are different, but I know that if it is what God or nature or whatever you believe in has put in your mind as your purpose, if you just keep going, keep trying your best, the time will come that your purpose will be achieved. So timing is a very important aspect of fulfilling purpose. That's what I think. That's what I think. So what do you think about timing?
I mean, in I think passively we have also talked about timing because something I always tell my friends is that you do not owe the world a performance. You do not owe the world any explanation because today we have lots of young people who are, they are sinking, if I should borrow the word, in that social media presence, right? And so social media, it gives us that, you know, that interest to sometimes want to compare our lives. Sometimes we are motivated to, but what I will always say is that comparison in itself is the thief of happiness, right? Because you're unique. I mean, as a Christian, part of my foundation is deeply rooted, in not just in the things I read from the books, studying, no, but from the church and my understanding of the word. And then when you look at the scriptures, clearly the scripture says something. He says that I was made in the image of God, right? So what does this mean? It means that if I place a mirror in front of me and I look into that mirror and I see an image, right? I am a God because the Bible says, I was made in the image of God. So it means so. So now the big question is, why should I begin to compare my life, as a God, to somebody else who
Somebody
I don't know
else.
if this person is actually a God, right?
Yeah.
So makes it's a bit foolish, because our lives,
It,
we are
no,
wired
no, no,
differently.
no, it's funny because even the Bible, the same Bible says, they that compare themselves with themselves are not wise.
Exactly,
So it's
exactly.
foolish.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah. So you do not owe the world a performance. You do not necessarily need to belong to the world. You need to belong to yourself. You need to belong, and belonging to yourself is ensuring that your purpose is aligned to what you really want. For you to be able to achieve this, I mean, this is not like to make people feel good or to make people feel fly, because I don't think not everybody has this very tough skin, because trust me, young persons are very vulnerable in their life in personally, right? So for we to really achieve this, you have to be able to have that sense of pride in yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and then you then begin to sometimes run your race. I remember one time ago I made a post on social media and I said that for you to really go far you have to be blind. you know I know that was some play on metaphor, and by blind I'm trying to say, look, stop thinking about the distraction. If you just scroll through social media, there's a lot of distraction, a lot of people doing things. There's that willful interest to want to perform. So you just have to stick to your lane. You have to believe in yourself and ensure that the time you have set up for yourself, you're not late. You're never, you're not late. Your life is not in haste. You know, uh, there is no, how would I say this? Like, I mean, I don't think that for my personal life, there are gatekeepers. There are no gatekeepers to tell me this is when I should define success or this is what success should look like. No, it is what I define for myself. It is the timeline that I give to myself, as Mr. Clinton. That is the ultimate timeline. Young persons need to embrace these ideologies. They need to, have this kind of understanding. In this way, when you are out there, in the world, you're not moved by what other persons are doing. So it gives you that sense of perception that you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your gift, and your gift will lead you home.
Okay, okay, fantastic, fantastic. So, uh, I love conversation. I'm learning a lot, especially from a global perspective. It's really amazing, but we need to um, find a way to dance around. Uh, Everything that has a beginning has an end. I don't want it to end, but it has to come to an end. But just for a conclusionary thing, I think there was a part in the pre-video. There was a part we spoke about abuse, right? So they say if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable, right?
Yeah.
So if as we as humans that we are, right, if we don't get to understand our purpose, right, and fulfill it, we're abusing our lives. And it might seem nice that, I know disturb anybody now, I just do my work. But you're actually abusing you're actually abusing your life, right? And it even spans to relationships, right? If the purpose of if as a man you don't know the purpose of a wife,
I think there's some kind of network hitches from your end.
Yeah, sorry. This network again. Can you hear me, Clinton?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, this network again. So what I was saying is, if the purpose of something is known, abuse is inevitable. So even these leadership issues that we're talking about, if the purpose of a generation is not known, you will definitely abuse that generation. So one of the problems we're having in Nigeria is uh, they don't understand the purpose of the young generation, right? And the young generation keeps being abused, right? And even the older generation, if the older generation don't know their own purpose, right, they will keep abusing that generation. So its purpose cuts across every corner. It's not just personal, it is societal, it is relational, it is leadership wise, and every aspect. Yeah, so I think that's where I would like to call it a quit on my end. But Mr. Clinton, please just open our minds some more. If there's anything you would like to share with us conclusionarily, please open our minds once more.
Just for final closing words, I would like to say that for me, right, purpose is where greatness stops being raw potential, like it stops being a raw potential, and then it starts becoming useful, disciplined, and directed. So, like I said today, the person may carry greatness, but then purpose tells them where to point or like where to pour this thing into, right? So, I just believe that with a very strong sense of discipline, and by God's grace, young Nigerians will be able to thrive, beyond their issues surrounding leadership and all of that. So it has been a very wonderful conversation. I enjoyed this, and yeah, maybe some other time. I'm super excited to do this.
Yeah. Awesome. It's really lovely. It was really lovely time, and I see our people in our comments. We see you. Greetings, everyone. The names are very interesting, so forgive me if I cannot pronounce them, but we see you all. And our person that said it's a very lengthy so till our next episode or till our next live stream, we'd love to say thank you for allowing us shift your mind once more, and we hope to hear and we hope to share more with everyone on the global stage. And please do well to like this video, subscribe to Mindshift, and push. If you feel this has been good and this has been good stuff, push it to other people. Let other people's minds be shifted also. After all, more people with shifted minds make the society a better place. So till our next time, thank you everyone, and thank you, Mr. Clinton, for your time. Thank you everyone for
Thank you so
listening.
much.
All right, all right. Cheers, everyone.